It's February 25th, 2022. I woke up this morning. There's apparently a running club local. Um, I tried to sign up for it. I borrowed Linda's email, and then it said that it took it. Then again, again, with this technology, it's why I don't deal. I won't use it. It crashes. There's glitches. It's whatever it is. It's frustrating, and I refuse to take part in this garbage. So I went down to the running club and I asked, it's part of New York City and they're road runners. I asked if there was a paper, because she said she thinks it's something to do with some waiver of responsibility or whatever. And I'm like, is there a paper version of that? Rather than just this electronic, because the electronic it was not working. So she's going to find out for me and get back to me. She was very, very receptive and seemed to be helpful. Um, and so I learned that 5K does not mean 5 miles. Seems stupid, but in the actual wide world of thinking of things, as a non participant, never thought of it before. Um, so there's that, just so there's something of community that lives around this area. Um, just to get to see faces and whatever else. Um, so there's that. And on my way, it's only 25 degrees in New York. And I don't have like winter running gear. Um, so I borrowed the car and I drove to the location. Um, and on my way, there was this thing on the radio um, that I caught wind of. It was what some radio host speaking of a new conversation that's out there in the New York, whatever. I don't know how far it extends. About some involvement of something called the CIA, um, and about breaking up households, um, and the family unit and family structure, um, in order to get double the taxation by taxing not only men but women in the work field. And there's been some conversation where like the women are actually standing up and saying that they don't mind this subservient role to their husbands in like a traditional housewife kind of a way. Um, and I listened to it again with a keen ear. Um, Again, like that goes back to, from a woman's perspective, the two American men that had the bad blood that they forced into my path are like classless men that couldn't even afford a housewife. So it's not even a conversation to entertain on that aspect of what kind of men is America raising. Um, so like mission complete at totally destroying for the children of the future the family household. Um, so there's that. And then there is the like where I grew up type of households, um, where traditional housewives, and then they went to the country club and so on and so forth. My parents um, both worked in a business while we were there. Um, I was invited on special occasion to like the winter club by the house for special ice skating session. Somebody important showed up. She knows who she is. She's going to be an Olympic skater. Again, not to be. I didn't know that day, and it's not like I had a pen and a paper in my back pocket. So this way, and it doesn't seem to stay in memory for some reason. Um, but it was somebody extremely important. That much I could understand. She had a way of being very much the way that I am in like spiritual construction. It felt like in a one time conversation. Um, anyhow, so in there was that. Now they're arguing that on the public side of a conversation. I'd never heard that argument made before. Again, I don't really have much quantum entanglement with humanity. It's part of the problem in this area. Built for a specific way of being and then completely derailed by, I don't know, like, I mean, on my end, do you say, like, it feels like somebody was sponsoring me to have, like, a really great life, and then they withdrew their support of some, like, I mean, who was this withdrawing of support? Why? And what's the fail safely backup plan to that, considering, like, I know in the endangered species side of animals, it does not matter where one of these endangered species are. When they come into trouble, first of all, their breeding season is more important than the rest of the animals. And when they come into trouble, I mean, it should be picked up like that. And there's special laws dedicated to the endangered species. That goes back to ABO and RH negative blood type and blood group. Um, so it makes no sense to me whatsoever why they would force this bad blood relationship, um, and then try to stick me like punish me thereafter as if I had a choice from the beginning. I mean, somebody purposely withdrew um, available men in the ABO, RH negative blood type, even though I am an endangered female in season. And then, I mean, like, again, the man on the radio, when he was talking about this, he said, like, throwing women into crisis mode. Um, and by the time they realize it, it's like so out. No, like, I've realized it the whole entire time. And they have sent people who said that they knew about it. But again, it's getting any resolution or fixing is I mean, it's ridiculous. Somebody contacted Lewis, um, something about noetic sciences. I didn't know they had an ions institute. Again, ions, I think of molecular biology, just in a natural jump to conclusion. Um, but in like the bigger picture or whatever, um, then on the way back, I heard this woman speaking of this very, like, she used these two words that I never heard before, but almost like polarized version of something with hedonism and whatever. And then um, this other version of, like, you just turn it off. Like, there's just no sexuality whatsoever because there's just no point in having one. Like there's nothing, whatever. So I'm like, that's a really interesting conversation. Um, this morning, I also first thing in the morning they didn't have on the Christian like gospel speakers. They had on this morning something in all Spanish, who had an ankh around his neck, um, but in a Latin Spanish, like an Italian Latin Spanish. It was very pure to the ear, not dialect. I mean, it was dialectic, correct for my whatever I could understand them. But then there's this other piece on Turkey I watched about a woman, um, and had I not seen that this morning, because they had these like buildings in the background, where I've seen hand painted version of that, but again without the artist to ask where this was, and almost like cryptic writing that I can't read. Um, I had no idea where in the world that is, but I thought Mesopotamia and then Mesoamerica. I was like, and what does miso actually mean? M-E-S-O. Um, so anyhow, I'm in this at the moment. Um, so I found a running club, which is nice. Um, Not that I'm participating today, and I have to wait to hear back about this waiver of I don't know what. Um, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.